Portland Place, your online source with a patient-to-patient view of chronic pain. Today's guest, Mr. Dennis Kinch, author, pain counselor, patient, and the man who walked 3,000 miles down Route 66 to demonstrate the power he has learned from all the patients and professionals he interviewed on the road for a solid year. This power can be found in the pages of his new book, Journey Through Pain, The Walk for Healing. Hi, Dennis, and welcome to the show.
Hi, Eric. I'm glad to be here. Thanks again for having me. I appreciate it.
Now, we've seen how you interviewed people on your walk to gain the pain cycle materials, but what led to the walk itself?
Well, what led to the walk was, I had 10 years in chronic pain, and I did all the stuff you're supposed to do because I was insured pretty good. And I went to physical therapy, a whole bunch of different physical therapies. I had meds, many meds. And during this 10 years, really from 94 to 2004, I went undiagnosed. Nobody wanted to say what it was. So because of being undiagnosed and being a hidden illness where no one could tell that I was sick because I looked fine, it probably cost me many more years than it should have. And then that's what led to my insurance being canceled, which led to losing my house and my car and my job. And eventually my kids, I had to tell my kids I can't do this anymore because I'm going to become homeless pretty soon. And I became homeless for a year. And so I went back to Massachusetts because I have family there and I figured I could stay with family, which I did. And luckily, being homeless in Massachusetts, you qualified for Romney Care, believe it or not. And Romney Care allowed me to go to any place I wanted to, so I immediately went to Mass General Hospital because it's the best in the world. It turns out that they had the only pain clinic directly related to only pain. So they have it where once they consider you in chronic pain, which they consider a disease in itself. So even being undiagnosed, it allowed me to go into the pain clinic as pain being my disease and take pain classes and go to physical therapy and try some RF treatments and things like that. And then eventually they diagnosed it as a bone marrow disease. But up until that point, this is the first time I had ever seen pain classes. So I was taking all the pain classes and I was going to physical therapy. But after 10 years, it had become a washing machine cycle. I was just in there going through the motions every day, doing my thing. I had become a professional pain patient. And I was on the negative side of the pain cycle, which I didn't know at the time. So I was just going around in circles of negativity. So again, a lot of things they were sending my way, I wasn't putting my energy into because I was very depressed and withdrawn and just not feeling right. My spirit was pretty much dead at that point. Well, it did reach a point of suicide where it reached a point where I was sitting in my basement and I was thinking, I really don't know what the point of living is at this point. I can't be with my kids. I can't hardly walk at all. I'm really down, and the future doesn't look good. Now that I got diagnosed, I know it's a permanent bone marrow disease, and it's been deteriorating for 10 years. It's showing signs of being very advanced, and I was just ready to give it up. So, that kind of softens your attitude.
You would think, with reality hitting us in the face so much, that denial would be a non-starter. How does a patient fall into denial?
Well, one day, my physical therapist, she literally smacked me in the back of the head and said, I want you to look around you. Why are you acting like these guys? And when I looked around, I saw a lot of people older than me with walkers in the pool, and they were trying really hard to walk and to do these exercises that she had given them, and they were moaning and groaning and bitching and complaining, and I realized I was that. That's what I was doing, and it literally blew my mind. I couldn't believe I could see myself, and that wasn't me. That's not who I am, and that literally changed everything. I went home that night, and I couldn't get it off my mind. And I decided at that point that I was going to do what Dennis would do, and he would attack this stuff. He was an athlete.
Yeah.
He was kind of crazy. So that's what I did. I went home and I said, you know what? I'm going to start walking, seriously walking. And I'm going to walk to Washington, D.C., since I can't walk to Colorado. I'm going to walk to Washington. I'm going to knock on doors of some congressmen and wake their ass up and say, do you know how many veterans are out there on the street?
No, it's true.
How many people are out of jobs because of this pain stuff?
Yeah.
And it's all crap. It's all a cycle that the doctors create, that the medical system creates. And when you fall into it, it becomes an insurance cycle. And you're just in it completely depressed. And there are millions of people going through this. NIH, National Institute of Health, says 100 million people. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Well, I saw tons of them on the streets, and I was getting angrier and angrier by the minute. Because now I was awake, and so I decided to walk to Washington, and that was the best and the worst thing I could have ever done. I did get my physical therapist's blessing, because I told her, if I do everything that you're telling me to do, and if I apply it to my lifestyle, shouldn't I be fine if I walked 400 miles?
That is so... Yeah.
She just couldn't believe it, but she said, you know, you got me in the corner. I have to say yes. I said, good, that's all I want, say yes. So I walked to Washington, and I made a lot of mistakes. I did a lot of things wrong, because I didn't know about the pain cycle. I didn't know about how to apply myself to the walk, how to put my own spirit into the walk. So by the time I got picked up by the National Pain Foundation, because they heard about the first walk,
Yeah.
and they wanted to congratulate me and meet me, so they flew me out to Denver, of all places, where my kids were, and they interviewed me, and as I stayed around them and saw the kind of work they were doing with pain patients and stuff, I really got excited. I wanted to do something big for them. And this eventually came to be the Route 66 walk, which a lady named Catherine came up with. We were talking about flying into all these cities and doing 20-mile walks, commemorative kind of things. I said, why don't we just string them all together, and I'll just walk the whole thing, and you guys just support me and pump it from this end, you know?
Dennis?
And that's what we did. So I flew to Chicago, and
Dennis?
National Pain Foundation took care of everything for me. I became their spokesman, and I walked from Chicago to Los Angeles on Route 66 and stopped at well over 60 clinics and hospitals and talked to patients and talked to doctors. It became inspirational. By the end of that walk, there was a huge energy that was uplifting from the whole thing. It was really amazing.
It's an honor to meet you after reading your book and following your exploits when you were on your walk. Thanks again. We'd like to thank our guest for being here today and for sharing his exciting and inspiring story. This is our second in a series about chronic pain. Join us next time for more educational materials to help you get through your chronic pain and disease. We are here for you. We're one of you.